Hello everybody, and first of all, Merry Christmas. I hope you all had a lovely day. I hope you're all enjoying this Christmas period. A quick reminder, a few days ago I uploaded my 2024 Game of the Year ranking, so go watch that one after this, and next Monday I will be ranking every single game I played this year, regardless of release date, so subscribe and hit the bell thing to make sure you don't miss that. But today, we're going to be ranking the top 5 video game stories of 2024. We all love experiencing a good story, so I thought it would be a good idea to just round up 5 of the best from this year. Don't worry, this entire video is spoiler free, so let's get started. The story of Banishers is almost the sole reason I enjoy the game so much. You play as a Banisher named Red. I assume it was his parents' favourite colour, I don't know. He and his partner Antea are Banishers, and it's their job to investigate hauntings and banish ghosts to the void, pretty self-explanatory. But Red's life is flipped upside down when the pair bite off more than they can chew, and Antea is unfortunately killed. Red then proceeds to be haunted by Antea. The irony is just completely off the charts. You, as the player, then must make an oath to either return to the spot Antea died to free her from this purgatory, or resurrect her. The catch is that in order to resurrect her, you need to steal the life essence of other living people, aka killing them. You spend most of the game investigating other people that are haunted and investigating the situation. At the end of each case, you must decide whether you want to banish the ghost or blame the living person to steal their life essence. You also aren't aware of how much life essence you need to bring her back. It tells a fantastic, morally grey story that forces you to question your priorities. Is the life of a loved one more important than dozens of civilians? Regardless of which route you ultimately go down, the game tells this story so well, with fantastic voice acting, brilliant presentation, and a profound message no matter which ending you receive at the end. The story of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, for the most part, works so well because it masterfully balances reverence from the original game with bold new storytelling that deepens its themes and its characters. At its core, Rebirth thrives in its ability to expand the emotional narrative scope of Final Fantasy VII. Thematically, Rebirth excels in exploring identity, destiny, and the burden of choice. Cloud's journey remains central, with his fragmented memories and uncertain past driving the tension between who he thinks he is and who he must become. The introduction of alternate realities and subtle changes to key events in the narrative raised more questions about the nature of fate. Can the future be rewritten, or is it an endless cycle of loss and sacrifice? Another key theme is the environmentalism and the exploitation, very similarly to the first part of the remake trilogy. The game vividly portrays the destructive consequences of Shinra's greed and its toll on the planet and its people. By expanding the scope of the world, Rebirth brings greater attention to the struggles of the marginalised communities and the environmental degradation caused by unchecked corporate power. These themes resonate powerfully in today's world, making the narrative feel even more relevant than ever. The characters are the beating heart of the story though, and Rebirth shines in its portrayal of their personal growth and relationships. Cloud, Tifa, Aerith, Barret and Red especially, I know I just named half the cast but shush. But the dialogue and the emotional scenes that take place during their special sections that they have, they're just incredible. Their camaraderie and struggles feel deeply human, grounding the epic stakes in relatable emotions. Rebirth succeeds because it dares to embrace both its legacy and its potential for reinvention, by playing with the expectations of returning fans and simultaneously introducing fresh narrative twists, and by doing this, it creates a compelling tension between the familiar and the new. The result is a story that feels timeless, rooted in universal themes of love, loss and hope, whilst boldly charting a new path forward, even though I do think they completely ruined the ending. Nine Souls is a poignant story-driven adventure set in a Taopunk world where ancient traditions collide with advanced technology. The story follows Yi, who must embark on a mission of vengeance against the Nine Souls, powerful rulers who maintain an oppressive utopian empire. The task seems straightforward, but as Yi journeys deeper into this world, we begin to unravel the true nature of his mission and the dark secrets of the realm he inhabits. The game introduces a cast of complex characters, from the desperate remnants of the ape men, who are just people, that entrust Yi with their final hope, to enigmatic allies whose motives remain unclear. The Nine Souls themselves are not merely villains, they represent conflicting ideals, and facing them reveals the frailty and hubris of those who cling to power at any cost. Each boss fight feels deeply personal, as they all have a previous relationship with Yi. Themes of grief, duty, and the cyclical nature of oppression run throughout the narrative, with Yi's personal journey echoing broader questions about the cost of revenge and whether the destruction of the old can ever truly bring about renewal. The story delves into humanity's relationship with belief systems, the allure of immortality, and the sacrifices demanded by those who seek to shatter a broken world. At its core, Nine Souls is a reflective tale about the burdens of history, the choices that shape us, and whether it's possible to carve a new path whilst carrying the weight and the pain of the past. In Persona 3 Reload, you play as a high school student who transfers to a new high school and soon discovers that he has the unique ability to enter the Dark Hour, a hidden time that exists between one day and the next. During this story, ordinary people are transformed into coffins and the world is overrun by shadows. To combat these shadows, you join a group of other students who also have the power to summon personas, manifestations of their inner selves that can fight the shadows. As the story unfolds, you explore a mysterious tower called Tartarus that appears during the Dark Hour. You soon uncover a conspiracy involving the origins of the Dark Hour, the true nature of shadows, and the role you must play in preventing an impending apocalypse. The inevitability of death is the driving force behind Persona 3 Reload. The game continually asks you to confront the concept of death, both as an abstract idea and a personal reality. Persona 3 emphasises that death is an inevitable part of life. The game does not shy away from this truth. Instead, it forces you to confront it head on, through the storyline, the mechanics, and the character arcs. The message here is not to fear death, but to understand and accept it as a natural part of existence. By doing so, both you and the characters can find meaning and purpose in your lives. The side characters in this game are also just brilliant. There's a real sense of camaraderie between all of them as they all work towards this shared goal of stopping an impending apocalypse. But individually, on a smaller scale, they all have brilliant, well-fulfilled arcs. The story does take a while to get going. It's very slow paced for a good chunk, but when it does get going, it simply does not stop. The emotional stakes of the game just continuously rise, and it all erupts in an unbelievably emotional finale. Persona 3's story touched me more than I expected it to, and it's undoubtedly one of the best stories of the year. The story of Silent Hill 2 is often hailed as one of the greatest in gaming because of its masterful use of subtlety, psychological depth, and thematic resonance, and this doesn't change with the remake. At its heart, Silent Hill 2 is a deeply personal tale of guilt, grief, and the lengths people go to hide from their own truths. The narrative doesn't rely on overt horror or cheap scares, but instead uses its eerie, fog-shrouded setting as a mirror for James's inner turmoil. Speaking of James, he's the unlucky fella who is drawn to the town of Silent Hill after receiving a letter from his late wife Mary, who says that she is waiting in Silent Hill for him. Now, this is a bit strange, as I'm sure you are aware that dead people can't write letters. The premise seems somewhat straightforward, but as James delves deeper into the town, it becomes clear that Silent Hill is more than just a place. It's a psychological crucible, one that manifests his repressed emotions, his memories and fears in surreal and disturbing ways. Every encounter James has, whether it's the town's grotesque monsters or its enigmatic inhabitants, is layered with meaning. These interactions force both James and you to question the reliability of his perspective and the true nature of his journey. What makes the story so compelling is its focus on human frailty and moral ambiguity. Silent Hill 2 doesn't paint its characters in black and white. Instead, it explores the complexities of guilt, denial, and self-punishment. It asks uncomfortable questions. How far will someone go to protect their idealised version of the past? The game's narrative is deliberately understated, leaving much open to interpretation. Themes of loss, repression, and the destructive power of obsession permeate every aspect of this game, from its cryptic dialogue to its hauntingly symbolic monsters. The story unfolds like a psychological puzzle, with the pieces being drip-fed into place through exploration and introspection. This deliberate pacing allows you to immerse yourself in the oppressive atmosphere and engage with the story on a deeper, more emotional level. Silent Hill 2 works ultimately because it's not just a horror story, it's a profoundly human one. It uses the medium of gaming to explore emotions and themes that are rarely tackled with such nuance and restraint in this industry, leaving an unforgettable impact long after the credits have rolled. So that was my ranking of the top 5 stories I played this year, and yes, I am aware that 3 of these games were remakes, and that may have ruffled your feathers a little bit, but I think that's more of a reflection on the current state of storytelling in the industry rather than my ranking ability. Before I let you go, I just want to remind you, 30th of December, ranking every game I played this year. You do not want to miss this. There's around 50 games, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. As I promise you, you aren't going to want to miss it. But alas, that is all for now. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, as it really does help out, and comment down what games you thought had the best stories this year. But for now, that is all. Have a nice day, and goodbye.